Business, a person's occupation, profession, or trade. Connection, a relationship in which a person or idea is linked or associated with something else. Welcome to Business Connection. Each week, our program will offer inspiration to navigate the business world. Information you can use to succeed in any field. And we will help you focus on your goals. Join us now for Business Connection with your host, BC Clark.
Well, hello there. This is BC Clark, and this is the Business Connection. And my guest is Catrina Dunbar, Custom Occasions by CD. Welcome to the show, CD.
Thank you for having me.
Yes. Well, listen, I think this was a long time coming anyway, because I know that you had just with getting started with your business, and I thought I wanted to come and have a little bit of, press and find out a little bit about it, So, so tell us a little bit about yourself.
Sure. I'm a native Omahan, born and raised. Been just working, lifing, traveling, doing things like that. Some different life events happening, so kind of gave me that push to get a business going and started. So.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. So what things do you like to do? And so we could talk about that. So what is your niche, you think?
My niche? Trying to be creative and come up with different decorating or ideas for different decorating events. So just as coming up with family events, life events, being part of that planning and thing, just being able to be creative and put things together for that kind of sparked my interest.
Your interest in doing the events and what have you. I think that's awesome. Well, I've seen some of your work and it's really great. So if you're looking for someone to do events and record, this is the one. But and a lot of times that's what happens. Usually you're doing something, all of a sudden you realize how much you like it, could this be a niche, or is this just a side hustle or what have you? And usually, when people are starting a business, it's usually a side hustle first, if they don't go into, corporate America or into some big company. And so it's really good when you do have an opportunity to find something that you really like doing, because they said if you want to be successful, find something that you really like to do, and then, learn as much as you can about that industry. And so have you done much research on the industry of like event planning and those type of things?
Just a little bit more about what kind of sparked my interest is getting into rentals. As I was in corporate America and planning events and using different rental companies, you see that their items are extremely used and they're not replacing those items. And my thought process was, I have these items already on hand from different events that I had that's just sitting. So why don't I utilize that put it to use? Yes,
absolutely. And I think that, especially when you're first starting out, a lot of times you're not sure how to get the word out, And I always tell people the best thing is word of mouth, but however, with social media today, there's so much you can do. You know what I mean? There's so much. And I know that you're just getting started. But what is it that you like about when you're doing an event? What gets the motor running?
I think it's just those creative juices and how can I make it stand out and be elegant and price pointed to what a person what their budget may be.
Maybe, yeah.
So just being able to use that creativity, make something stand out, and make the person happy and what they were looking for and asked for.
Yeah, and that's good. Satisfying the clients is number one. If we don't do that, then we haven't done it right. But I love the fact that, because I like to watch HGTV. If I could watch that 24/7 without any problem. I love it. And I love the fact that they go into these houses and it be looking like, and sometimes it's just house that just needs to have a better flow. But they have that eye that they can just pick out and do that. And I admire people who can do that, Now, for your own space, how you like it and all that kind of stuff. But, to have somebody come in, and I know years ago there was an individual Marion, who hers was, I can't remember, was, but she did interior design, and she was amazing. She could look at a bedroom, and all you saw was a bed, and and probably a nightstand, and all of a sudden, she would have, I mean, she just bring in this piece, throwing a rug on the floor, and the place looks different. And so to have that kind of eye is really a unique talent. Everybody don't have it. So it's always interesting. I always like talking to people so what do you see that make you want to change this room around?
I
Do
think
you?
it's just the vision. I don't think it hurts, or maybe it does hurt, that I like to shop, and sometimes I'm a matchy or that contrast person. So
Yeah.
I get set on a mission of trying to find what I'm looking for, and so I'm just headstrong
On
and
that.
I guess tunnel vision
Yeah.
on doing that.
No, that's good though. I mean, because I'm not a shopper. I know most women like to go window shop. I cannot do that. That's not something for me. When I'm looking for something, I'm I'm told I shop like a man because I go, I see what I want, I shoot it, kill it, and bring it home.
And there's nothing wrong with
Period.
that.
But to go to looking at a window, I don't even know what that's about. I don't. I just have to. But then everybody have different eyes and they like doing different things. And sometimes it's something that people like to do with other people. And it's just fun to be able to do that. Go to window shopping and have lunch. But I never understood it. So I just never did. I never did. I'd much rather go and listen at some music somewhere with a bunch of friends than to go and look in a window and talk about what I would like to have. Because it just doesn't work for me. But anyway, so I know that you're just getting started. So, what things, as a new business owner, are you concerned about?
I think being able to get that clientele and that advertising and word of mouth to get that information out there, and just being able to expand the business and just getting everything started.
So let me tell you, don't try to expand while you're getting started. Okay, get started. Okay, just because you already have a lot of stuff, right? And so, right now it is finding more out about the industry. What is it that people are saying out there about what they like and stuff like that. And you can also do a survey to kind of find out what people are looking for their birthday, for their weddings, for their anniversary, for the children's things, for even the people that want to do a tea. You know what I'm saying? Whatever that occasion might be, because you are, you know, custom occasions. So making a list of all the different occasions that people might want to use your services for, and then making sure that you would have certain ideas for each of those will give you some insight on, if you start looking now, it's like, okay, so somebody want a bar mitzvah. If you've never done that before, somebody may come to you and say, well, my son is having a bar mitzvah. It's a Jewish thing, right? And so, and then they would say, and so we need this is this. So you need to know about a bar mitzvah, make sure that you don't make a mistake,
Right.
because that is a religious thing. You know what I'm saying? So it's best to kind of list out the things that you do, so that on your brochures, people won't ask you for something that you don't have labeled. Or if you don't plan to do any bar mitzvahs, then don't put it on your, but if you do, I want to at least know about it, then you want to at least find out what's the decorations for that, what happens during that time. So to me, especially when you're just getting started, you want to learn, what things can I do, like you're in some classes now that's going to really help with understanding some certain things, and I think just being intentional about now getting the word out. I think that should be the focus right now, because you are ready to do certain things, right? And you can list those out, and just say, sometimes when you're communicating out, you can say available for weddings, available for, and you can kind of list the things that you're available for. So people won't call you to do a golf show, you know what I mean?
Right.
So I think right now, and this is a prime time, because you are in that phase of startup, even though you started. I think that um, just learning as much as you can about the industry you're in and being able to bring that into a proposal for what, if you wanted to take it somewhere, or doing, getting some pictures and stuff, so that you can show what you're doing. Pictures tell a big story, especially when you don't talk. Okay, so you want to take, get some pictures and do a portfolio of your work. And even if it's just that you and some friends get together and you have a certain dinner thing, take pictures of all of that with them there, just, and then start collecting those pictures, even if you go somewhere and you're doing a flower arrangement or whatever, take pictures so that people can see what you do as far as flowers are concerned. If somebody's having a wedding, they may want to use you for that. They want to see who you know in that industry. So you want to develop relationships with people that are going to be able to help your business, okay? Flower shops, okay? Any kind of like entertainment type places, you want to have relationships with those type of places, anything that's going to help your business, because you can't do everything. So if you need flowers, you want to go to your friend over here who's going to give you a discount on the flowers, right? And that way you guys have a relationship between you, MOU between the two of you guys. You send people to him, he'll send people to you, but you guys will do business together, okay? And then getting with different outlets, like, where you can go and get different types of materials and things from. Develop relationships and leave your card so people know what you do. I do decorations and, looking at different types of material for curtains and things like that, because you may have to do some of this stuff, right? So this is a phase where, even though you'll be doing this like as a side hustle, until you get to that phase where now you're ready to launch, then this is the time now that you would be looking at pulling in certain things. What is the trend for this year, as far as decorating? What do the flowers look like for this year? I'm doing a tea, and as I was looking at decorations, I saw the flowing purple and pinks and white flowers. I was like, oh God, got to have this in the ceiling. This just seems like it's something you want. It's because it seems like to me when people come into a place like that, when you got things hanging from the ceiling, I think it puts elegance to the whole atmosphere of the place. And so I thought, oh God, I got to get these. And then I saw, I don't have that eye that you guys have, but then I saw things for the wall. It's almost like a drop, like a drop cloth. So I said, oh, we would feel like we were right there in the garden somewhere, So all those things that were coming into play for me, was just coming in. And I thought, oh God, this is gonna be good. I thought about what can we put on the ceiling, So how they have the white stuff on the ceiling. I had so many things. I was like, I am not a decorator, but man, this looks good for me. So just start, imagining. I think that's the one thing that we can do better than we do anything else is imagine what you want, because when you can see it and you can believe it, you can have it.
Absolutely.
And that is, for me, I think that's what it is, So I imagine, I do a lot of imagining as far as where I'm trying to go. I'm intentional about it. And so, I may look at the floor and say, and I can actually see the floor change to what I want it to. But that's just that. I'm to go in somebody else's house, I can't, and anybody tell me, I don't know what kind of style is this, but I think that to your advantage this is a good time to be in the phase that you're in, because now you can collect so much information, keeping track of everything, looking at the trends, because that's something that you'll definitely want to do to stay on top of everything. But also going out and looking at other event people and looking at what they have for their list of people that they know. You can find out all this stuff, you can Google certain people's names, and then they'll give you a whole history on what they do, how they do, and all that stuff. It's all online. I'm telling you right now. So you can spend some time when you're in your spare time, or if you feel like you got stuck and you're overwhelmed, just sit down and go through and look at some of the stuff that they create, which will give you ideas so that when you're ready to do a wedding, or ready to do an anniversary party, a birthday party, whatever that might be, I think that'll give you some insight, on how to make that happen. What do you think?
Thanks. That's true. I've done some of those events and done a little bit of that research, but yeah, the more you see, it sparks your creativity and gives you more
More
ideas,
ideas, yeah.
of what you can do or how you can improve that
Yes,
look.
yes. And the other thing too, I think, is to make sure that you stay um, on the cusp of understanding your business. You know, there's so many facets to what you can do with that business. Even sometimes somebody may call you up and say, I'd love to have a balloon arrangement. Well, if you never work with balloons, you was like, what the? But that's a part of, of custom occasion. Someone, they like balloon art. So you can start learning about balloon art, and whatever you decide that you want to bring into that, because you can decide what it's going to be. Is it going to be just, certain things, or am I going to go out to do this here? Right. Eventually, of course, you can't do everything at once, but eventually be thinking about what things you might want to add as you begin to scale your business, right? But I'll just say, when you're starting out, don't try to expand until you get everything in place. Get your policies down, get your business plan all set, where you know what you want to do and how you're going to do it. I think that's really important, because once that business plan is done, and we'll complete that in this class that we're having too, okay? By the time you leave, so I'll be sending out some stuff. Today's Thursday. Yeah, I'll be sending out some stuff for Saturday. Okay. That actually, I'm sorry, we're in a class right now, so I'm trying to bring this up. But on the business plan, so we'll have a template, okay? And we'll also have a guide. And then when we have the class, I'll be doing a presentation talking about the components of the plan. So that'll give you some more insight too on what goes where in that business plan, okay? So as far as your business is concerned, we want to continue to just look and see what makes sense. How do I do this? And you're a pretty smart girl. I mean, you're in IT, so us left brainers always have some stuff up our sleeve for sure. So just go back to, me. I'll read a manual in a minute. I want to know something, and if it don't look right, I'm gonna, this is not logical.
Right.
So and I know how you work with different organizations too. So I mean, that's always a plus as well, because that's still giving you that insight. And who knows, maybe it's time for you to just focus solely on your business and just be able to move forward with that. To me, that's a good, that's consolation. You know what I'm saying? There's so much going on out there that, if you're not deeply in AI and all that, then, people, the first thing they ask you now is, you have any AI experience? Yeah, I know ChatGPT. I'm not certified, but I know Chat. Yeah. But there are, or take classes. This is a good time to take classes too, while you're getting ready for that. What are some of the other things that you think you have a concern about as far as getting this business where you want it to be?
I think it's just putting that effort out there, putting my foot out there to get it actually started. I've contemplated it different times and maybe pushed it off. I'm like, oh no, maybe that's something that I don't want to do, or not right now.
Yeah.
So I think it's just putting that effort forward and actually getting it started. Have those pictures from events that I've done, putting that together, and some of the research. So just getting everything down on paper.
Even when you go to something, like you go to the tea that's coming up in June, take pictures. Oh my God. Oh my goodness. Oh. This is a moment that is crazy.
Okay. And of course, technology doesn't want to work.
I can't believe that happened. It's never happened on the show. Anyway, I must be important. That's Jesus calling. But So just making sure that we have those type of things that we can, you know, um, that you can do, and then to make sure that you look at your potential target, who is that and what segment of the targets that you're focusing on, because there's, you have your target audience, but then what segment is it, is there a particular age group you want to work with? Is it certain organizations? You know what I mean? Just kind of lay all that out, and that'll help you kind of design where you want to go and put things in order. So if someone calls you from corporate America, okay, well, they're looking for this, right? If someone calls you that wants a birthday party, then that's a different category. So you should have all different categories that you're willing to work with, that you feel comfortable with, because you worked in corporate America, so you understand it. So in corporate America, a lot of times they may be looking for gifts for employees, right? Or maybe they want you to design something for them that they can, present to employees. It could be anything. It could be that they want you to come and do a full luncheon for them, well, then that way you talk to a caterer. So it's always great to have a caterer that would be, you have a partnership with, so you can just get the stuff from them and, have it done, and then you pay them later. You know what I'm saying? So there's so many things that when you, to me, I think this is a field that's open. I think this industry is wide open. Knowing people is key in this field.
Yes, it is.
Right? It really is, because you're going to be needing different people for different things, because you're not going to do everything. And you want to be able to call, hey, Jane, this is what I need. I need, X amount of flowers for, this wedding that's coming up, or for this birthday party, or whatever. Hey, so I need balloon art. So if you know somebody that does that, you can just have a relationship with them and say, hey, I need an arch, a balloon arch that has whatever. And, there you go. So you guys have a relationship, an MOU perhaps between the two of you guys. And then, and they say, okay, so I'll charge you, 15% less than what I charge customers, because you're going to be bringing me business. It's things like that you want to start looking at, okay? Because this industry does require you to know people and know different other businesses. And I think that's really important. So knowing a couple of caterers and developing a relationship with them, and, and flower shops and things like that. And then making sure that they are willing to give you that 10 or 15%, because you'll be bringing customers to them, So a lot of stuff,
A lot of things to
that can
consider.
happen. And I think that, like you said, now, you just need to bold up and get out there and get it going.
Yes.
And there's people out to help, there's people out there to help you for sure. And to make sure that you're focused on where you should be going, and don't add anything that you don't want to do, because then it's not gonna be fun, But when you can do things that you like doing, you're more apt to do them more often, and it's going to be fun. It's not going to be like working for
Right.
you. And I think that's what's important. And I think a lot of people get into things just to be in business, and it's not their niche, it's not their forte, and they don't like it, and then it just doesn't work.
Right.
So developing good relationships is going to be key. So networking is good. In fact, tonight, the Midlands African Chamber have what they call Umbutu.
Okay.
It's a networking event. Would you like to go?
Sure.
Okay, great. It starts at 5 p.m.
Okay.
And it's at the Millwork Commons.
Okay.
Okay. Another thing that's important is networking. So if you're just starting your business and you're kind of trying to figure out what to do and how to get going, don't be afraid to network, okay? Networking, especially for a small business, is huge. And so there's chambers that always are putting on different events. There are different organizations that put on things like if you want to go to even the movies and things, they put on stuff there. I put on stuff at different places. You can have a business after hours at your location, or you can just go to a small business and say, hey, I'd like to have an event here. It's going to help them and it's going to help you. So you can do those things. So just remember that networking is really huge. There's so many different events that happen monthly. You want to do, and I'll tell you some of the ones that I go to, whether, if you want to know. On the second Friday of the month, it's something called the Empower Breakfast. Empower Breakfast is on 120th at the German Society. It's 120th. It happens the second Friday of every month, and it starts at 7 a.m.
Okay.
So if you're an early riser and you want to go and find out information early, you can go there. On the third Friday, it's the Metro Omaha Women's Business Center breakfast, and they have that at La Peep. The fourth Friday is the Hispanic Chamber, and they kind of move around, but you can look up the Nebraska Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, and you can find out theirs is the fourth Friday or the last Friday in every month. They have a wealth of people that attend, over 85 to sometimes 100 or so people, but you meet good people all over the place, and it's not just Hispanics, there's everybody there. All it's open to everybody. Mm-hmm. It's just like everything else, So so those networking is important. So just so you want to check out networking events, go to those things, check out when someone is having a networking event of their own, go and see what they're doing, meet other people, because it's all about meeting and developing relationships. And I think that's important. Would you like to give the audience one tip or something that you struggle with as starting your business?
I think it's just that taking that initiative and stepping out on faith.
Just step out.
Just step out.
Just do it.
Just do it. Otherwise, you'll keep telling yourself different things and talking yourself out of it.
I agree with that. So one thing that I would say, and I do agree with you, Catrina, if it comes in your head and it's something you want to do, don't sit on it. Get up, start moving, and then find out what you need to do if this is something you feel like you want to make into a business. But don't jump in and say, I'm going to start a business because I feel like I want to start a business. Mm-hmm. Learn as much as you can and start planning for it. Don't just do it, okay? And make sure that you're meeting other people so that by the time you have a grand opening, you'll have 50 people at your door, okay? Starting a business is exciting, it's fun, especially if you're going to be doing something that you love. So don't mess it up and don't get all the things you need. Do your research on the industry, meet people, go do networking, do all the things you need to do, lay the foundation so that it's concrete, okay? And I think that I really appreciate you being here today, because I think this is good that you came. I know you were a little bit nervous. It's okay, because you know what? A lot of times when you want to do something different, you're a little nervous about it, but you did it. So this is the Business Connection. I'm BC Clark, and we'll see you next time.